Give me a few minutes and I'll tell you 3 things you need to know before you buy a poinsettia. Poinsettias are incredibly sensitive to environmental changes. They're native to western Mexico and southern Guatemala, where the temperature is just perfect for them to have this beautiful, vibrant color. They have a sweet spot between the temperatures of 60 and 75 degrees, and when they maintain that temperature, they can hold this color for 2 to 3 months. But they are sensitive. If you get them outside of that temperature range, they can drop their leaves in a hurry. What this means for you is that you want to choose a plant sooner rather than later. You want to pick a plant that is not sitting in a drafty area. If you're like most of the people in the world who experience a cold winter, if they're sitting in a drafty area, they're getting a cold breeze from the door combined with a hot blast from the heat, and that change in temperature is not going to give you a happy plant. If you can find them when they've just arrived, they'll still be in this plastic sleeve, and that's actually an ideal condition because this sleeve is going to protect them from the temperature change when you leave the store. Now you want to look at the plant very carefully if it's in the sleeve and make sure that the leaves at the bottom of the plant are healthy and green and vibrant and aren't turning just a little bit mushy from being in a sleeve for too long. You want to pick a color that is consistent and vibrant throughout the whole flower. And as you check out from the store, if you're headed into the parking lot with cold weather, you want to put a bag over your poinsettia and give it a little microclimate inside the plastic to protect it from that cold blast of winter air. And as soon as you get it home, you want to get it out of the sleeve. The second thing you need to know is how to identify the bloom. These vibrant colors are actually leaves that are surrounding the bloom. They're a modified leaf called a bract, and these colorful leaves have a purpose. They attract a pollinator to the bloom in the native environment. And so as long as the bloom is new and fresh, these colors are going to be bright and vibrant. But as soon as the bloom fades, as soon as it's been pollinated, the leaves are going to fade. So you want to choose a plant that has a fresh bloom that's just beginning to open. You can see that most of them are closed, but this one in the middle is just starting to show a little bit of pollen. And this is a perfect time to buy the plant because this is going to give you a really long bloom cycle that you can enjoy in your home. You want to choose a plant with a bright, consistent coloration in the leaves, particularly these little leaves surrounding the bloom, because these tiny little leaves are going to flesh out and grow and produce more color in your plant. Now, as the blooms begin to fade down the road in 2 or 3 months, it's not uncommon for these bracts, these leaves, to fall off. And that does not mean your plant is dying. That means your plant is headed toward a period of dormancy, and that's when you can choose. Do you want to keep the plant for next year, or do you want to compost it? The third thing you need to know is that poinsettias like to remain consistently moist. If the soil gets too dry and the leaves start to wilt, that will cause the leaves to fall off of the plant. Even one wilting will do that. And if you water it too much and it gets soggy, the same thing is going to happen. The roots are going to rot and the leaves are going to fall off your plant. And so that means you need to be aware of this little plastic liner that almost all poinsettias come in. The first thing you need to do is take that off or cut a hole in the bottom of it so that it does not hold water. Because if the plant sits in water, the roots are going to rot and the leaves are going to fall off. Now you can take it off and set it in another pot, and that's a great way to help to protect the plant from sitting in water. Now this pot drains, it has a hole in the bottom, so it's not going to be sitting in water. Even if I water it a little too much, it can drain. While you've got the plastic off of the plant, you want to look at the bottom leaves of the plant and go ahead and remove anything that looks even remotely sad on the plant. And this is true for as long as you have the plant. If you have a leaf that's fading, starting to look sad, you want to go ahead and take it off. And then once you've got it pruned like you want it, you can put it back in the pot. With these 3 simple tips, you're going to be able to pick out a poinsettia that is beautiful and healthy and will last for 2 to 3 months all through your holiday season. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next time on The Handcrafted Garden.